So you educated. We'll have all the information available, so yeah, it'll be on my YouTube channel, along with my other meetings there.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Thank you. So first of all, thank you for being patient and for moving with us tonight. So I'm going to be speaking in English. This is also available. We have translations available. And so the translators are going to, just so for the English speakers know what's happening, just because they may not have understood the channel you're on.
Okay. Bonsoir. Pour tous ceux qui parlent français, nous sommes ici pour les assister. Si vous avez besoin de services, d'informations, comme vous pouvez le faire.
Est-ce qu'un besoin de service en français, service de traduction en français? Pas encore, merci.
Arabic. Let people say hello and let people know which channel you're in. Just in case anyone else. Director.
Director Harper.
Director.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So, I really wanted to thank 22 of last year. And our mission is to protect the economic interests of the residents, businesses, and visitors of the District of Columbia. And we issue licensing, and we regulate businesses. We also investigate and enforce the Consumer Protection Procedures Act. So when I'm talking about licensing, I'm talking about corporate registration, training registration, the business licensing, professional and occupational licensing, vending. I know that many of you are here because you wanted to know more about vending licensing. So that's what we're here for. And obviously, when I say investigate and with consumer protection, because we have an obligation to make sure that when these consumers is buying any products or services, they're not being taken.
With us to host this event and welcome you all. Also want to recognize Mamadou Samba, Director Mamadou Samba, who was former Director of the Mayor's Office on African Affairs. He's a brother to me, a mentor, and I want to thank him for his guidance. So I wish you all a great evening and a great program. Thank you.
the director here. So we have the Mayor's Office of the Caribbean, Community Affairs here, Director Natalie Snyder. So, thank you so much for being supportive. And I wanted to let you know that we have been going around different parts of the community and doing different events like this to different, so we can reach out to many different ones. So today we're here with the Office of the African Affairs, but we last month or so we also did one for the Mayor's Office of the Asian Pacific Islanders, and then prior to that we also partnered with the Latinos, that MOLA, the Mayor's Office of the Latinos Affairs. So we're partnering with different agents, mayors, different agencies to kind of go around so we can able to bring you the information for the customers and also, the regular residents as well. What's going to be coming down the pipeline, but that's not going to happen until October. But I still want to kind of give you a heads up. But today we want to focus on what does it take today to get you guys licensed, all right? And I wanted to thank all my staff here, that who work very hard to put all these series of events, not just today. But I want my team member staff, please stand up. What their name is, what their title, what do they do, so this way you're familiar. So even next time when you do come to our office, you can say hello to them and they will be happy to assist you. So we'll start off with Mamadou in the back.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Mamadou Samba. I'm the operating officer at the Department of Licensing and Consumer Protection. Thank you.
Good evening, all. I'm Louise Peterson. I am the manager of the Business Licensing Division, also overseeing the Vending and Special Events Division as well.
I need to meet with you.
I think everyone's taking notes.
Yeah.
Louise Peterson.
Hello, I'm Harriet Brody. I'm the interim administrator for business and professional licensing. It's good to see all of you.
Hello, I'm Anissa Crosby, and I am the program manager for civil infractions.
As you can see that we treat this very seriously. You see that? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Sorry, I didn't see you in the back here. So I was saying that, thank you for my team here. As you can see, that we treat this very seriously because it's so important that we relay the information so you guys can get started, right? Time is money, right? And so you can see that I have my licensing people here. I have enforcement people here. So we're here to answer your questions. And if we happen to unable to answer any of your questions, we'll make sure that we'll follow up.
Some of the things we just heard, we're switching out the presentation real quick. We heard a couple of things on the way in, we were just switching out the presentation.
Okay, great. So while we have it, how about can everybody show a hand of who are existing vendors here? Who are existing?
Or just special event vendors, because there's other people that say.
Thank you. So who are the people who would like to get started to become either a street or a sidewalk vendors?
I need to get with Miss Peterson about the special event thing. I work with the local businesses on U Street, so.
So a lot lot of people who are joining us online
Yeah,
as
I live
well.
across from the 130 Club.
It's Wounded Warriors
Behind bars.
behind bars.
I'm on Google Maps.
Okay, I'll have to look. I'm a disabled vet myself.
Nice to meet you. What band?
Okay, we're good.
So, I was Marine Corps and the Army.
We're gonna have our, this circular outlaw to, thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm here to speak on how to get licensed as a sidewalk vendor. What is a sidewalk vendor? Businesses who operate from sidewalk locations are required to obtain a sidewalk site permit. Each sidewalk site permit authorizes a vending business license to vend from one specific sidewalk location. 24 of DC Municipal Regulation, Chapter 5, 525. Class A license requirement. If you are incorporated or have a trade name, you will register with the corporation division. All business have to register with the Office of Tax and Revenue. You will need clean hands. That means you don't owe the government over $100 in taxes before they issue you a clean hand.
No more than $100 in fines and penalties to the district.
The Certified Food Protection Identification Card. You are required to get this card from Department of Health, the district Department of Health.
Can you repeat that?
Your food manager card. You are required to get that from DC Health.
For food, right?
That's correct, for food. I'm giving you all requirements for food only, right here.
Oh.
You are required to have a health inspection report from the Department of Health. It's not up here, but you are required to have an inspection. Class B requirements for sidewalk. The same, if you're incorporated or have a trade name, you will register with the Office of Tax and Revenue. You will need your government ID, you will need the passport photos, and a background check. You will not need any inspections done for Class B.
Merchandise.
Go back to the merchandise.
Just because Claudia said online they couldn't hear you with the requirement.
And if you can't hear everything that I'm saying today, you can send an email to vending@dc.gov and I will forward you this presentation.
2 years.
The Class D will be $337 for 2 years.
It's hybrid.
Vending site permit. In order to have a sidewalk vending license, you must have a site permit for your location. That will be your very first step of getting a sidewalk vending license. You will submit the nearest address to where you're trying to vend to dc.gov. It takes time for these locations to get approved. It can take 45 days or longer Because we renewed your location.
We don't have to apply to get approved
No,
again,
you
right?
do not have to reapply for your location.
As long as it's a renewal.
Can you all hold your questions until I end the presentation? The fee for a sidewalk site permit at this time will be $1,200 for 2 years. This is your design standards for your sidewalk vendors, the merchandise. The stand should not exceed a maximum horizontal surface area of 7 feet by 4 feet 6 inches. This is for the merchandise sidewalk, your design standards. Food vending carts, those are your hot dog carts, your food vendors that you see on the sidewalk. 4 feet 6 inches in width unless the vendor brings food from the vending employees to your license. It will be an additional $55 fee along with requirements. All your employees will need their government issue ID, passport size photos, police criminal reports. Only if you're serving food, they would need the certified food manager card. Your Class B and your Class D would not need that one.
Q&A is following after she goes through all the requirements, then you can ask your questions.
This is an example of a vendor employee badge. This is the badge you will receive once you receive your vendor license that you have to show to inspectors or other agencies if they came out to ask for your license. The vending hours of operations is still $1,200.
So the 400 something is applied for what?
If you're a food vendor, it will be $476.30
No,
for
he's a
Class
food-
A license.
Okay, he's a food vendor, existing food vendor, so.
That's correct.
So when he's gonna renew, when it's a renewal time, how much would he pay?
I cannot answer that question at this time.
When do we renew? Do we renew this year, right now, prior to the new law going?
They have to be renewed before the law.
I'm sure it's depending upon your incorporation date and things like that.
When is his, he's up, when is he left to renew?
September 2024.
It was like something in another meeting.
So.
Somebody September, somebody March.
Do you have a question? So I have like 2 questions about fees. Like I seen something in the newspaper about fees. Was that for food vendors?
What's happened is that the Mayor's Office of Latino Affairs, they have a small budget, limited budget, to help, some vendors to able to come into compliance, like applying for licenses. But they have a small budget, so it's like kind of first come, first serve. So whoever came, and then based on that budget, and then they help with paying for those fees to our agency. So it was a separate initiative, by the Mayor's Office of Latino Affairs. So not all the agencies, directors like Congress office, they have a very small budget, so they may not have the availability of funds to be able to do that. It just happened that Moeller was able to find the funding in their existing budget to be able to accommodate a limited number of vendors. So it's just based on first come, first
Fine, I don't
Yeah.
mind keeping it.
Yeah, that's
We have to provide us with your closest address so we can look and see if that's a vendor location.
Okay.
If there's any vendors there, so we can see whether or not. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I work with a demographic that chooses not to work well with authority figures. Is there a point that we could take back that I could say, hey, you really need to get this license instead of just putting the table up and selling their product out in an hour, and then they think they can get under the law like that? So, is there a thing that the demographics that we can avoid that kind of confusion? Because I know that the
Sister agencies also.
But you see my point where a person has a product and they just can want to set up anywhere. Sometimes veterans get these ideas because they see other people selling hot dogs at the bus stop that they can just go do whatever.
I'll just add to that, right? So this is one of the reasons why we're doing this workshops, right?
Yes.
So we can able to like let people know how to vend legally, so that this way we can help them to come into compliance. And there could be some misconception that because if they are a returning citizen or maybe previous history of homelessness or something that they cannot be able to be licensed. Hopefully, they don't have those misconceptions, but we're here to, have like workshops like this. And we also go out on the street so we can, talk to the vendors and say, hey, but we don't want to be a hard-handed approach at this time because we wanted to able, as a new agency, it's our responsibilities to communicate, educate, and help them understand how to get into compliance. And obviously, if we do that and they still don't come into compliance, that's when the enforcements need to happen because that's only going to be fair to those who are in compliance and who are licensed.
Well, that also applies for the grant relief programs.
Or jumping through all the hoops and spending all the money to figure out their business, to figure out if it's even viable before spending $7,000.
Okay, thank you for your question. So number one, our agency has something called the Small Business Administration. And I welcome everyone who is interested in potentially starting a business to make an appointment. You can come down, we have specialists that will sit with you and you tell them your ideas, you bring what you're interested in doing, and they will help you create a business plan and take you step by step through licensing. Secondly, you also can participate in like special events that does not require a business license. It just requires a special event license. So you can then market everything that you purchased. You can then attempt to sell your products, and then people will see. That's like live market research. They'll be able to see if participants are actually interested in your products in that area. So that's an option for you. But I strongly recommend that you reach out to our Small Business Administration, Small Business Research Center. I'm sorry, resource, Small Business Resource.
Would not need a vendor license.
Like a block party.
License the actual event, not the vendors that participate in it. You
Okay,
can also try markets too.
Yeah, so like a farmer's market, for example.
Yes, because we license the market, but not the actual vendors at the market.
Oh, interesting. Okay, thank you.
Oh, yes, and also because you're serving food, you need to reach out to DC Health. They can provide you additional information on what you need to do. Any more questions?
Yeah. Is there anyone here from DC Health today?
No,
That's why?
I'm sorry.
We can give you contact information to somebody at DC Health.
Okay, so I have a question regarding enforcement.
Okay, I think they should have went ahead and signed up.
Yes.
Okay.
So my question is finding these locations. So when, let's say someone goes through the process, pays everything, does everything legitimately. Now they've got their business set up. How do you know where to go? And how do you know who's not gonna have a problem and who is? Is there like a roadmap of where vendors are?
We'll check to see whether or not it's a vendor location, or see if any vendors at that location. If it's vendors at the location, we will respond back and let you know that. And tell you to try to pick some more locations.
Oh, she responded back quickly.
So I have a couple questions. So
If you
I'm gonna read a.
Oh, that's, okay. Let me explain another thing about Sidewalk. Once you choose your location, you can only be in that location. You cannot move around. And if you can get up to 3 locations, you will have to pay $1,200 for each location that you're trying to be at. And each location have to be open.
And it'll be a certain spot?
It will be a certain spot.
So no one can roll up there?
No one, we will actually give you a map, which is a permit for that location.
Okay.
So are the laws different for food trucks than for actual vending carts?
Because they're illegally vending. So what kind of, so if somebody is vending illegally, or say somebody is standing beside a vendor who's already established and has a valid vending license and a permit, how do you handle that situation? If somebody is there illegally beside that vendor and causing him damage to his business, how would you deal with them?
So we send out, what we need you to do is file a complaint. Or call or file a complaint on our online license, online complaint portal. It's available 24 hours a day, the online portion. Or you can call us. We dispatch investigators to go to the scene where it's occurring, try to get somebody out there as soon as possible. The investigators will then check for this information here. So that was part of my presentation. Where we check to ensure that all parties present have the proper licensing and registration to be where they are.
And let's say they don't have any of that.
So then when they have nothing, we then ask them to leave.
What's your question?
Sure. For Class A licensing, there is a size specification. If your truck exceeds that, is there a waiver process or another process to go through that will allow you to have your truck even though it is bigger than what has been specified?
Can I answer for that, Mr. Law? So I did, we're processing, in the process of getting a food truck license. We went for the inspection. Our food truck actually had a bumper which would pass maybe like 2 inches. We have to go get it taken off. So I'm telling you that.
But that's not safety for you. If you remove the bumper, I mean, how are you going to be safe if somebody like slams into you? And that's why, that's one of the things that I was like, you know, I brought it to the attention of Ms. Brody and other, that's why they're trying to help us to change that law. And that's why they're saying they're going to update the vending handbook because it hasn't been updated since 2013. And so that's why our, like, your cart, I don't know if you're a food truck or I'm a hot dog stand. So our hot dog stand, the limit is 5 feet by 7, 5 by 8, I'm sorry. So it's very tiny and nobody wants to like build new ones that are that tiny anymore. So that's why Ms. Harriet is in the process and DLCP are in the process of updating the handbook. And she had promised us that when they start,
that process to update the law, they will contact us to put our input, like whatever, if you have a concern, you want to change something, like for instance, for me, I want to change that size of the hot dog stand, it's too small. So that's when they're going to start doing it. So, right, Ms. Harry? Speaking to that point, when we're talking about
detail on their sidewalk site permit. While conducting a sidewalk vending investigation, during the course of an investigation, the investigators ensure that the license cap number and expiration date on the vendor's employee badge matches the license cap number on the vendor's business license and vendor's site permit. They also ensure that DC Health and FIMS, the fire and EMS certificates, are up to date and current. Present or correct, the investigator requires the vendor to close the operation and proceed with issuing a notice of infraction. Those are those monetary fines that I discussed a short while earlier. And that's the conclusion of my portion of the investigation.
Okay, hello. Let me try to answer these questions, okay? Again, I'm Harriet Brody. I'm the interim administrator for business and professional licensing. So, first question.
All right. If we already have a business license, do we need to get a whole different license, or can we add on to vending?
What is the item? What are they selling? Is it merchandise? If they already have a food and they're doing merchandise, and they have to get a merchandise license. Yes.
As far as how many days? It's a fee per day of your event. I don't know the specific amount, but it is on our website. But it's charged based off of the how many days your event takes place. So if it's 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on one day, then you're charged for one day. Based off of the licensing fee.
If you provide a customization service on your merchandise, do you need to have both Class B and Class D licenses, or just Class B? If I'm just repeating the question, so if you provide a customization service on your merchandise, do you need both Class B and Class D licenses?
Yeah.
The answer is Class B only. Can you please repeat the website for grant opportunity? What type of license is needed to sell non-alcoholic beverages? The answer to that would be a Class A, which is a food license, right? So this question is a little on non-alcoholic. Okay? So this person said, I started working with DSLBD 2 years ago. I made an appointment at MLK just as described, and to date, I'm at ground zero. I asked about a vendor's license first and was told by Ms. Nixon that DC did not do vendor's license. I ultimately paid for an LLC, and now 6 months later, DCRA was trying to charge me another $400 for a bicentennial report when the business wasn't a year old. I did not have the money, so the city dissolved my business today. There isn't a question for that showed up in the chat, right?
They would need to speak to corporation. They can speak to corporation. I know exactly what they're talking about. They're talking about the annual for April 1st. So they can reach out to corporation.
So for that person you will need what is called a public market license, which is a Class C vendor license.
information as well. What if you have a license for merchandise